Dead. Gruesome.
While it's not true at the moment, Resident Evil 5 will be remade. Every single Resident Evil game you know and love will be remade, and it will be remade over and over again. It will be remastered over and over again, and you will buy it every time and smile. But anyway, Resident Evil 5 Remake has not been announced in any way, shape or form. It's not even heavily rumoured at the minute to be the next remake. That title seems to go to Resident Evil 0. But I'm sure somewhere down the line we're gonna get Resident Evil 5 remade. And while there's a lot of fixes they can do to Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 5 is personally one of my favourite Resident Evils because damn, I'd be kidding myself if it wasn't. I've played it so much. I always return to it. I'm always playing it. I'm always on it. I can't stop playing Resident Evil 5. It really is top tier, but I'm not delusional either. I can see the issues with Resident Evil 5. Its atmosphere is terrible. It leans far too heavy on the action side of action horror, and it really falls apart in the last third of the game, I'd say. Enemies having AK-47s really does take the biscuit of just stupid ideas to give enemies in horror games, quote unquote. Resident Evil 5 is great though. However, one of its key features that seems to be pretty divisive when it comes to Resident Evil 5 is cooperative play. Now, some people are saying if they remake 5, they need to get rid of co-op altogether. I'm gonna go over a few things on what I think when it comes to co-op. First of all, the first thing to get out the way is, I think you're insane if you think for a second Capcom, if they do remake, no, when they do remake Resident Evil 5, that they would remove co-op. That is not going to happen. Resident Evil 5 is one of the biggest sellers in the franchise. And it's probably because the co-op is superb. It's one of the best co-op experiences you can get on any system. It's still superb to play cooperatively. To remove that feature, damn, that would hurt the sales. I could imagine people raging about that. Not me personally. I don't mind whether it's in or it's out. Now, why do I keep playing Resident Evil 5? It probably is because of the co-op and how seamless it is and how it just works and how even without a headset, I feel like you can communicate so well in this game. You don't even need the headset on, so you don't need to be talking to randoms. It just works. It's so good, man. But I also understand that it kind of hurts the horror. It does, because you're not isolated. You're not by yourself. You've always got your partner with you. You've always got someone to rely on you. But I would argue it just makes the task harder. Now, if you want to play it by yourself, I think this is where the issue comes in with Resident Evil 5. If you want to play Resident Evil 5 by yourself, Sheva's AI isn't the greatest. Now, she's not as bad as you might remember her being. There's ways around manipulating her playstyle. But for the most part, she can be pretty annoying. So the only thing Capcom can really do is avoid those mistakes the second time round. We need to make sure that Sheva is reliable. She doesn't walk into things. She doesn't get herself killed. Hell, even remove her health bar altogether when she's just following you. There's got to be a way to do it. I think they need to do more sections where you get separated so you can't rely on each other. I'm sure you can communicate over headset and talk to each other and what you're doing. Maybe bring that into the game mode itself. Maybe have some puzzles that work with cooperative play. But they've really got to lean into the idea that co-op shouldn't hinder the horror. It should make it unique. Give yourself a completely different experience through this game. Plus, if they remove co-op, are you saying you remove Sheva altogether? Now, we're in the year 2025. We all know how social media will react to the main black female character being removed from Resident Evil 5. Really? Do I even need to explain what will happen there? I actually really like Sheva, so I don't want to see her get removed. And yeah, you could argue and go, don't remove her, make a separate campaign, but it's like, do we need that as well? It just seems silly to milk out more of Resident Evil 5 when you could just leave it in co-op, have it two separate characters that you can control, and keep the co-op in. It doesn't have to hold it back. If you look at a game called Dead Space 3, now I know that game gets a lot of shit for being really leaning into the action aspects, kind of funny, right? Both these games have a lot in common. But when it comes to horror, there's actually some really, really memorable sequences on Dead Space 3 where Carver can see things happening that Isaac can't. And you'll be talking to someone over headset and go, whoa, you're seeing this? And the other player will be like, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I don't see anything. Because it's unique to Carver. Carver's seeing that. Now, I'm not saying that Resident Evil 5 can do something like that, because how would it, right? It doesn't make any sense unless you get one of these characters infected and make them go through those kind of situations. But you can really do unique scares with co-op. So they've got to figure that out first before trying to just shoehorn in co-op. It's like you can't take what Resident Evil 4 Remake is and then just kind of like make it co-op, because it just won't work the same. But I think people need to get on the idea that co-op is here to stay. When Resident Evil 5 rears its head again, it's not going to be missing co-op. It's going to have cooperative play, because that is the main reason why it's sold so well. At least that's the main reason I think it sold so well. Sure, it's a Resident Evil game, it was always going to sell, but Resident Evil 5 really sold well. It reviewed well too. It's not like people hated it. It's only like recently people have started hating it, and I get why. I'm a little bit yo-yo on this. I flip-flop all the time with Resident Evil 5, and I'm saying it's not a horror game. It's leaned too much into the action. In reality, it really doesn't lean that heavily in the action compared to the original Resident Evil 4. It still has its moments. I don't think the atmosphere is as good as Resident Evil 4, obviously, because like most of the game, you're in broad daylight. And there's some real sections in this game where they could have fixed that. But I think we have to just accept co-op is going to happen. You have to get on board with it now. Whether Capcom can do it right this time around instead of what they did here, only time is going to tell. But I think when you get Resident Evil 5, you just have to be on board with the idea it's going to be co-op again. They will never ever remove that, and they really shouldn't. It's part of the game. But yeah, that's all I got. Let me know down below how Resident Evil 5 makes you feel, and if you think co-op should stay, if you think they'll get rid of it. I really don't think they'll get rid of it, but let me know down below how you feel. If you're new here, subscribe. But yeah, Bill, that's all I got. I'll catch you later.